say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you could see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith analyze the matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Stephen A. expects Crawford to win by decision, but urges caution. He recalls Gervonta Davis's warning that Crawford could face trouble if he engages too aggressively. Given Canelo's size and power edge, Stephen A. thinks Crawford should focus on defense, speed, and smart ring tactics instead of trading punches. The experts emphasize that strategy will matter more than sheer strength.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
At the same time, Max Kellerman points out that Terence Crawford seems to have the sharper overall skills, giving him a technical advantage. He notes Canelo Alvarez's strong chin and larger, naturally built frame, which provide power in exchanges. However, Canelo's recent fights haven't shown the same dominance or precision as before, suggesting a small decline. This sets up the matchup as a clash between Crawford's skill and Canelo's size and toughness, making it a contest of timing versus durability.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
Antonio Tarver, a well-known boxing analyst and former champion, has openly backed Terence Crawford while also recognizing the huge challenge ahead. Tarver notes that Crawford has shown his talent across multiple weight classes. Yet, he emphasizes that this fight is on a completely different level. He points out that it's not only Crawford's toughest challenge, but also a matchup Canelo Alvarez has never encountered before.
You know I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his sharp boxing IQ, expects the first round of Canelo versus Crawford to be cautious. He predicts both fighters will avoid unnecessary risks early, using the opening to study movement, timing, and openings. Bradley says Crawford is especially patient in big fights, preferring to observe his opponent before setting traps. Canelo also tends to gauge distance in the first round, making adjustments as the fight develops. Bradley adds that this strategic approach means the opening round will be more about tactics than action.
Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well.
You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm. You know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, you know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come.
Amir Khan, who has faced both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, offers a unique take on this fight. He points out that Crawford has already proven himself as one of the greats in his natural weight classes, especially at welterweight. Khan warns that weight divisions exist for a reason, and moving up against a naturally bigger opponent carries real risks. He believes Crawford didn't need to take on the pressure of facing Canelo. Still, Khan recognizes the ambition behind Crawford's choice, seeing it as a bold move to silence critics and achieve what few fighters have, overcoming the limits of weight classes. However, Khan is clear that while Crawford is elite, challenging someone as strong as Canelo is a risky gamble that could either cement his legacy or put his career in jeopardy.
We're nothing but respectful. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make him for a purpose, and I highly respect and say pound for pound the best fighter is Crawford by far and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway, so you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to put adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He
believes in his skill. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. That he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit. Very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah. But why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight?
Promoter Tom Lafleur views the fight from both a business and spectacle angle. He points out that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of boxing's biggest stars, each with massive fan bases across various countries and age groups. Lafleur says few matchups today can match this one in scale. The fight represents not just a clash of skills, but a meeting of two boxing empires. Canelo's established reign as the sports face and Crawford's rise as a pound-for-pound standout. Lafleur believes the hype is well-deserved, as it's rare for two fighters of this level to agree to face each other, especially with weight and legacy on the line.
It's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and And, you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston. And then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing, he's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real, you know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft. And his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Trainer Dave Coldwell points out Crawford's distinctive style, highlighting his skill in switching stances and using footwork to control distance. Coldwell says Crawford's leg movement is one of his most underrated assets, helping him create angles, frustrate opponents, and control the pace, especially against a strong pressure fighter like Canelo. He believes these qualities could be crucial for success. Coldwell explains that if Crawford stays mobile and avoids getting pinned against the ropes, he has what it takes to outmaneuver Canelo and score effectively.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch, he's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest, and he loads up. He loads up, and he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. When Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting, but he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance.
Jeff Mayweather emphasizes the importance of weight and natural size as a key factor in this fight. He notes that Canelo has long thrived at super middleweight, a division that fits his frame perfectly. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, is moving up to a weight that isn't natural for him, raising questions about how the extra pounds could impact his speed, stamina, and durability. Mayweather points out that Canelo's comfort at this weight gives him a built-in advantage, as he won't need to make major adjustments to his body.
The weight class that Canelo is already, owned. He owns his weight class. And so, and he even went up higher. So, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. This guy seems like he's amazing. I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. It's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's gonna lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
A Ring magazine analyst examines Canelo's recent fights, pointing out that although Alvarez continues to train hard and prepare seriously, a clear weakness has shown. In his last bouts, Canelo has had trouble cutting off the ring effectively, allowing opponents to move freely and evade his power punches. Against a fighter like Crawford, whose movement and angles are key to his strategy, this flaw could be costly. The analyst stresses that Canelo needs to regain his skill in trapping opponents and restricting their escape paths.
Trouble with, in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You know, you go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's gonna take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back into fight.
Former champion David Haye offers a fresh perspective. At first, he thought Canelo's size and power would overwhelm Crawford, making it almost impossible for the smaller fighter to win. But after watching Crawford's training and seeing his relentless effort and technical skill, Haye admits he's changed his view. He says he couldn't figure it out initially, but now believes Crawford has a genuine chance to win.
Nice beating Canelo. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford. I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. He's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good bigger can beat a good little, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size, so I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it, they're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think, once again, Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet mixing it up. It's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight. You know, that anyone who's interested in boxing and want to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. Does that make sense? Because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Jeff Horn, a former world champion, warns Canelo Alvarez that size and strength alone don't guarantee a win. He believes Crawford's elite defense will help him reduce damage and neutralize Canelo's power. Horn notes Crawford's skill in anticipating punches, rolling with shots, and avoiding clean hits, meaning Canelo's natural size advantage may be less effective if he can't connect properly. Horn emphasizes that Crawford's defensive discipline could decide the fight, letting him frustrate Canelo, limit exchanges, and counter with precision. Additionally, a veteran fighter who has followed Crawford closely shares his strong view. After studying Crawford's growth, preparation, and performances, he says he cannot bet against him. He highlights Crawford's mental toughness, consistency, and ability to rise to big challenges, qualities that set him apart. For this fighter, Crawford has already proven he belongs among the sport's elite, and the bout with Canelo is simply another opportunity to show his excellence.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against dude, bruh.
No, you can't.
I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is.
I'm so glad you here, big dog.
I'm gonna go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm gonna live with the results.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, I thought. Why did I think you was a DB?
Oh no.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terence Crawford. If Terence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going into college?
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more. See you next time.